Good morning, children. Now, today let us will see towards civil disobedience. Okay, towards civil disobedience. See, in the month of February in the year 1922, the non-cooperation movement was withdrawn. Okay, in the year 1922, in the month of February, the non-cooperation movement was withdrawn by the Mahatma Gandhiji because the Gandhiji's followers were started violation against the British government that did not issued by the Mahatma Gandhiji, because Mahatma Gandhiji was believed on, or he was believed on when the Chauri Chaura incident was took place in Uttar Pradesh. After that incident, suddenly Mahatma Gandhiji was withdrawn the civil disobedience movement in India. Okay, here just once you remember, so why did the Mahatma Gandhiji withdraw the civil disobedience movement? Because the protesters were started, or the protesters were turned into the violation. So because of that reason, Gandhiji was withdrawn the non-cooperation movement in the year 1922. So mainly in Chauri Chaura, the protesters were attacked on the police stations and they were burned the some police fellows. That incident was made the Mahatma Gandhiji to withdraw the non-cooperation movement in the year 1922. Okay, 1922. And one more, some of the leaders wanted to participate election to the provincial council. Okay, provincial council. So in that Congress party, some of the leaders were wanted to participate elections to the provincial council of the country. So these leaders were also wanted to participate in the election, and some fellows and some activities were started to turning into the violation. So due to this reason, Mahatma Gandhiji decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement in the year 1922. So here 2 points we have to remember. So first incident, Mahatma Gandhi, why did the Mahatma Gandhi withdraw the non-cooperation movement? Because the protester turning into the violation. And one more, in the Congress party, some of the leaders wanted to participate in the provincial election. Okay, provincial election. So due to these two reasons, Mahatma Gandhiji withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Okay, non-cooperation movement. See, the Swaraj party was formed by the C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. Okay, Motilal Nehru. So when the Congress leaders were decided to participate in the elections to the provincial council, that time C.R. Das, okay, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, these two Congress leaders were formed or found the Swaraj political party. Okay, Swaraj political party, right? Swaraj political party. So in that Congress leader, okay, some of the younger leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose pressed for more radical mass agitation for full independence. Okay, full independence. So in that Congress party, just once you see, some of the Congress leaders were wanted to participate in the elections to the provincial council, but young leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, they pressed for more radical, okay, more radical mass agitation against the British government. They decided to start the mass or huge or the large agitation against the British government, and they demanded for the full independence. Okay, full independence. So hope you understood about the why the Gandhiji was withdrawn the non-cooperation movement. So first reason, when the Chauri Chaura incident was took place in Uttar Pradesh, in that incident Gandhiji was decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. And second reason, in the Congress party, some of the leaders were wanted to participate in the elections to the provincial council, and young leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose and the Jawaharlal Nehru, they decided to host the mass agitation against the British government, and they were demanded for the full independence. Okay, full independent in some factors that shaped the Indian politics towards the late 1920s. Okay, some factors that shape the Indian politics, okay, towards the late 1920s. So during the 1920s, the total Indian political shape was changed by some important factors. So now let us will see which factors were changed the shape of the Indian politics. Okay, Indian politics. So first one, you see the worldwide economy depression. The worldwide economy was depression in the year 1920s. So in the late 1920s, the entire world economy was totally collapsed. Okay, totally collapsed. How you know? The agricultural prices collapsed after 1930s. Okay, the total agricultural production prices. Okay, agricultural productions means, you know, no, all the agricultural productions prices were collapsed after the 1930s, say, as the demand for agricultural goods. Okay, agricultural goods. So why that was collapsed, you know? So after the 1930s, the agricultural demand was increased. Okay, for agricultural goods fell and export declined. So the agricultural demand was fell down and it was declined. Due to this decline, all the agricultural production prices collapsed after the 1930s. So this was the main important causes to change the Indian political system during the late 1920s. So next one is most important for your board examination, that is Simon Commission. Okay, Simon Commission. So see, this Simon Commission was constituted by the Tory government of Britain. Okay, Tory government of Britain. So during the 1920s, the Tory government was set off in the Britain country. So that Tory government was constituted the Simon Commissions to look into the demands of the Indians or the Indian nationalists. Indian nationalists. Already the nationalists were started their struggle against the British government. Okay, British governments, and they were demanded for the British government for the Swaraj or independent. Okay, independent. So to look into the demands of the nationalist, and they suggested changes in the constitutional structure of the India. Okay, constitutional structure of the India. Because of these two reasons, the Tory government was appointed the Simon Commission under the leadership of Sir Simon. Okay, Sir Simon. Right. So why the Simon Commission was appointed? To look into the demands of the nationalists, and they decided to give the suggestions to the constitutional structure of the country. Okay, constitutional structure of the country. So because of that two reason, the Tory government was constituted the Simon Commission under the leadership of Sir Simon. Okay, Sir Simon. See, this Simon Commission was arrived in India in the year 1928. In which year the Simon Commission was arrived in India? In the year 1928 in Bombay. Okay, in Bombay. So when the Simon Commission was arrived in Bombay, the Congress party and the Congress leaders were opposed to the Simon Commission, and they started to shout the slogan against the Simon Commission. So why? How they were shouted, you know? So go back Simon, go back Simon, because in the Simon Commission there was no Indian in that committee or in that commission. Because of that reason, the Congress leaders were started protest against the Simon Commission in Bombay in the year 1928. Okay, 1928, right? So after that, what happened in India, you know? So in the year 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru, okay, Jawaharlal Nehru and some other Congress leaders who were hosted the tricolor flags on the banks of the river in the Lahore Congress session in the year 1929. In that year, this Congress party was declared Purna Swaraj in India. Okay, Purna Swaraj in India. So on 26th January 1930, these peoples were started to celebrate as a Independence Day in India. Okay, in India. So these two factors were changed the entire political system of the India towards the 1920s. One, what is that? The worldwide economy was depression. Second one, Simon Commission. Okay, let us will see the Salt March or Civil Disobedience Movement. Salt March or Civil Disobedience Movement. Before going to discuss about this concept, so now we will think, why did Mahatma Gandhi ji decided to start the Salt March against the British rule, and what was the reason behind to start the Civil Disobedience Movement against the British rule in India? These two questions you have to remember while reading this concept. Okay, so now let us will see the Civil Disobedience Movement or the Salt March. See, the Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhiji found in a salt a powerful symbol that could unite the Indians. So when Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch the civil disobedience movement against the British government, he found in a salt, a powerful symbol that could unite the Indians against the British government. Okay, British government, because those days the British government had imposed heavy tax on the salt productions across the coastal area of the country. Okay, coastal area of the country. So that time Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch the Salt March against the British government. Okay, British government. So Mahatma Gandhi on 31st January 1930, okay, 1930, Gandhiji sent a letter to the governor, okay, letter to the Governor Irwin. So on 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhiji was written a letter to the British government. So those days the British government was ruled, or the British government was headed by the Viceroy Irwin. Okay, Viceroy Irwin. So when Mahatma Gandhiji sent a letter to the British government, who was the governor, who was the Viceroy of India? The Lord Irwin. Okay, Lord Irwin. So in that letter, Mahatma Gandhiji demanded for the 11 demands. Okay, 11 demands. So he demanded 11 demands to the British government. So in that 11 demands, one of the most important demand was abolishing the salt laws across the country. Okay, across the country, because the common peoples were depend on the salt. Okay, depend on the salt. So you know the consumption of the salt, how the salt is important to the all living beings, means all the human beings on the earth. So when the Mahatma Gandhiji was realized about the salt, when he found in a salt a powerful symbol, that powerful symbol could unite the entire Indians against the British rule. So when Mahatma Gandhiji was written a letter to the British government to abolish the salt laws in our country, so the Lord Irwin was unwilling to negotiate. Okay, unwilling to negotiate of the Mahatma Gandhiji's demand. Okay, Mahatma Gandhiji's demand. So the Mahatma Gandhiji started his famous salt march. Okay, salt march against the British government. The Gandhiji started his famous salt march accompanied by the 78 of his trusted volunteers. Okay, trusted volunteers. So when the British government was rejected to abolish the salt law in our country, immediately Mahatma Gandhiji was started his famous salt march against the British government along with the 78 trusted volunteer of the Mahatma Gandhiji. Okay, trusted volunteer of Mahatma Gandhiji. The march was over 240 miles. Just to imagine, okay, just to imagine, this salt march was over 440 miles. Okay, 440 miles from his ashrama Sabarimati to the Gujarat coastal town Dandi. Okay, from Sabarimati to Dandi, how much distance was there? Over 240 miles. Okay, over 240 miles from Sabarimati Ashrama to Dandi. Okay, Sabarimati Ashrama to Dandi. See, this walk, okay, the Mahatma Gandhiji walked over 24 days, about 10 miles in a day. Okay, 10 miles a day. See, totally they walked over 240 miles from Sabarimati to Dandi. So per day, how many miles they walked? Per day 10 miles. Okay, per day 10 miles. For 24 days they took to reach the Dandi. Okay, so in the month of April, okay, in the month of April, Mahatma Gandhiji, okay, violated the salt laws in the coast of the Dandi. So in the coastal area of the Dandi, the Mahatma Gandhiji was produced salt along with his followers. So while started this salt march against the British government from Sabarimati Ashrama to Dandi, 1,000 women, children were joined with the salt satyagraha or salt movement against the British government. Along with his followers, Mahatma Gandhiji reached to the coast city of the Gujarat, Dandi. So in the month of April, Mahatma Gandhiji was violated the salt laws in India and they produced a salt in India. So this was about the salt march or civil disobedience movement against the British government.